Today we're going to explore more of our analytical features, including Oracle's data visualization tool, which allows you to create rich visuals intuitively, bring in multiple data sets, and share insights with one or many, and really tell a story with your data. So I'm logged in as Gretchen Adams, who's an executive within the organization, and one of the official activities that she performs is to review strategic and operational metrics. So when she logs in, she needs a dashboard of reports that matter to her at her fingertips. So I can easily drill into my personalized dashboard here, and this is where I can see indicators from all areas of responsibility. Now, as you can see here, there's different uses of wording colors and graphics that can guide me as to where I should focus on and where I should spend my time, especially on issues that I make the most difference. So if I take a look at my hiring by organization here, I initially can see that there's a little bit of a shortfall in actual hiring versus forecasted hiring when it comes to sales. I want to find out and drill in a little bit more and see what's different about sales compared to manufacturing and services where we have required headcount. So from here, I can actually drill into more of a detailed dashboard that tells me a little bit more about my shortfall in sales. So not only can I view this data geographically or by job family, but I can view it historically as it pertains quarter over quarter or even year over year. So what I'm looking at here is that I can see that there's a little bit of a difference in the hiring variance when it comes to the requisitions that we're needing and what we're actually filling in within sales. Many of our corporate objectives include building revenue lines this year. So we need to actually be at full strength with our sales force. So I want to figure out the best plan that I can utilize to fill these vacancies, and I want to explore a little bit more. So when I click on the Explore, this actually takes me into our data visualization tool where I can actually start to slice and dice and filter out this data a little bit more. So the first visual that I come to actually allows me to focus on the trend of actual headcount to budget over time and ultimately see if there's a gap between demand and supply and if this gap is likely to become greater. So let's focus on this first graph that we're looking at here. Now, the beauty of this tool is that these graphs are flexible. So I can change the data, I can change the visualization if I want to see this in more of a pie chart or a bubble graph or whatever it might be. I can also bring in other data points and really start to slice and dice. So I'm not, I'm not cornered into a pre-built layout, and I can truly make this visual my own. So the first thing I want to do is I want to see if this trend is actually happening across multiple job families or if it's just in sales alone. So I can easily bring in job family here, and now I'm actually looking at my actual and forecasted hires and how this breaks down by job family. So I do see that, the focus or the outlier here really is sales, and manufacturing and services seem to be pretty steady here. I also want to bring in and see how this breaks down by projects as well. So I can easily bring in the project names that we're working on, and now I'm looking at a matrix and what my hires and budget look like by project, broken down by job family. Now, this visualization tool not only allows me to slice and dice, but it actually comes with additional features here. So the ability to add outliers, forecast lines, and even trend lines are something that I can easily do on my own within this visualization tool. Now, the next thing that I want to look at is my hiring performance, and I want to see if we can actually meet those headcount targets that we're looking at here. So within my performance tab, I've actually brought in external and benchmarking data that's going to help me enrich my insight a little bit here. So this is looking at performance metrics coming from HR data, but also joining external benchmarking data like geo-based hiring statistics, so I can ultimately see where my top performers are. Now, right now, we're kind of just seeing this data in general, and I might have some additional outliers here. So what I can actually do with this tool is I can get rid of outliers very easily that might not be applicable to what I'm looking at here. So looking at, where my top performers are coming from, I actually see that we're getting a lot of our top performers with a higher retention rate from direct sourcing as well as university recruiting and a few other sources here. The next thing I want to do is I want to look at this hiring data with key metrics around time to hire and how we're paying people, and also the quality of hire, so I can kind of see what my best plan of action is and how long it's going to take us to meet those hiring targets. So what I'm looking at here with this initial summary is how we can achieve our hiring requirements. And looking at this, it's going to take us about 88 days to achieve, our predicted hires that we need. Now, not only can I view this data in some key statistics across the top, but down below I have some geographical representatives here, so I can see how we're breaking this and how we're meeting this by region. So what this allows me to do is kind of view if there's issues in specific locations. Like looking at Florida, for example, the blue actually tells me how many we need, and the representative of the dotted line tells me how many are predicted. So I can actually see that there's a shortfall of candidates in Florida looking at what's needed versus what's predicted. So I can be more proactive and have my hiring managers put more focus on that region here. Not only can I look at this data overall, but then I can start to modify these parameters a little bit. So I want to see if we can get our time to hire down to 40 days, and how this affects our data here. So I can actually input and play around with these parameters a little bit. And now I'm looking at, if I want to get my time to hire down to 40 days, we're not necessarily going to meet our predicted or versus actual targets here. So this is basically telling me that we're only going to find 25 out of 30 of those high-performing sales reps that I require. So looking at this data, I want to be able to take a snapshot of this and get this off to my managers so they'll be able to better understand their hiring needs and requirements. So I can actually easily share this report and share this hiring analysis with my managers so they have the information that they need to be proactive in their approach. And you'll notice that, it's a very intuitive, it's a very interactive format that I'm sending over to these managers, not necessarily just a PDF, but they're truly getting that snapshot and sort of what the outcome of this report looks like. Not only in a summary perspective, but they can even drill into more of that detailed visual analysis as well. So what we just saw in this example is the value to our organization is to be able to enable better business decisions by using these flexible ad hoc reports and visual analysis that we created, and being able to slice and dice that data and incorporate different forecasts, predictions, and even other sources of data to truly tell a story with our data visualization.